Hi, I'm Matt Collins. I'd like to welcome you to Bob Weber Auto Mart on Douglas Avenue here in Racine, across from Douglas Park. We specialize in 1-year-old, low mileage, almost new cars. And if you'd like to stop by and see them, or see them on our website, bobweberautomart.com, we could save you between $5,000 and $10,000 on your next almost new car purchase.
I'm Michael Burke, and this is Money Talks. Hi, today we are with Kathy Grant of Travel Market Vacations. You're the manager of this relatively new office that opened in 2013, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
and the topic we're going to be talking about is something I wrote about recently, which is that there is actually a traceable movement from people booking their own vacations online, kind of veering back toward using travel agents, which is what we're going to be talking about. How many years have you been in the industry?
31.
31 years, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And which is, of course, the reason that we invited you to be on the show, because you're very familiar with the trends over time. This is not just anecdotal stuff, and I just want to kind of establish at the outset, this is measurable, this phenomenon that we're going to be talking about. A company called Airlines Reporting Corporation, basically they are a go-between when people are buying airline tickets. In the last 12 months, the increase in total airline tickets bought with travel agencies, and this includes online, was an increase of about 1.8%, but those bought through traditional travel agents like yours, up 6.75%, so almost quadruple. So this is a measurable phenomenon. And just to kind of throw a couple more things out there, and then we'll talk about yours. Community travel in Union Grove, I interviewed the manager there. 25% increase in revenues last year in 2013 over the previous year, and Chocolate City Travel, 30% increase in revenues for them, and it had been 52%, up by about half the first half this year. So let's talk about why this movement back. What do you think is one of the top reasons that people are gravitating back toward travel agents and not just booking themselves online?
I think one of the first reasons is that there's just so much out there now, opposed to...
So many options, you mean travel options?
Yes, there are hotels, resorts, destinations, cruise ships. It's overwhelming when they first get on the internet. And I've known some people that have booked on the internet that have not had good experiences.
Well, let's get into that. That's kind of reason number two. Let's this explosion in options. You said something interesting to me back when I interviewed you for the story, which was you can remember a time when the Dominican Republic was just some island.
There was no resorts really there. There was just, the locals that lived there, and there was nothing. Same with the Riviera Maya, Mexico.
Now it's a destination. And Mexico, there was a time when you heard about Cancun and Cozumel, but not a whole lot else. And now it's pretty much up and down the coastline, right?
Yeah, it's really grown. I mean, since... I would say within the last 15 years, it's just been crazy. So.
I want to throw one more a number example out to buttress this point. When I interviewed the owner of Chocolate City Travel in Burlington, she said, yeah, if you Google the terms Mexico and all-inclusive, she said, you'll probably get 100,000 hits. I got 102 million on Google. Doesn't mean there are that many options, but there are that many potential things to look at. It's, as you say, it's quite overwhelming. Let's go to a point you alluded to a minute ago, too, which is the experiences and how you can end up with a not-so-great experience if you do it yourself. What are you referring to there?
Well, there's just a lot that you need to know when you travel, especially nowadays. Ever since 9/11, a lot of the TSA regulations are different. And, some people that haven't traveled for a while don't know everything like that. And that's what we're here to do, is advise everyone and make sure that they know. And also, when you go on a trip, I think it's imperative, if you're going out of the country, you should take travel insurance. And a lot of people that book online don't take insurance. And they have to remember that when you go out of the country, a lot of times your insurance, your medical insurance won't cover you. And so if something happens to you while you're on that vacation, you might be having to pay tons of money to some hospital down there. And that can be really scary. So that, we just like to take care of our clients and make sure that everything is good and their vacation is nice and peaceful, stress-free.
That advice component can really be critical. Tell that little story about the family that was going to Jamaica on a vacation.
Oh, yeah. And they were actually clients of mine, but they kind of drifted away to the internet for a while. And they booked a trip to Jamaica, and this was shortly after 9/11. And their daughter only had a passport card. And the man on whoever this was that they were booking with the online website never said anything about that or wasn't stated on the website. And so they went to the airport to check in, and they were denied boarding because she didn't have a passport book. And they had to cancel their trip. They had no travel insurance, and they had to fight the credit card to get some of the money back, and they didn't get all of it back.
Wow. Yeah.
So,
what are some of the other things you might tell a person? And let's back up one step here. Where are some of the places you've gone? Because a lot of the advice you give is based on your own personal experience or things that you've learned by being a travel agent. Where are some of the places you've gone?
God. Well, I've been to Europe twice, France and England. I've been to Hawaii, a lot of Caribbean and Mexico. Mexico, I've been to the Riviera Maya a few times, Cancun, Cozumel, Puerto Vallarta, Ixtapa. Been to Dominican numerous times, Jamaica, the Virgin Islands, so, and cruises, a couple cruises, Bahamas, things like that. So,
So kids become a travel agent when you go.
Yeah, Disney World a lot, too. I've been there a lot of times. So, you get to know these destinations really well, and you get to know the airports and, just things like that, little extras to tell your clients. Like in Jamaica, a lot of people don't know that there's a thing that you should really buy when you go to Jamaica. It's called Mo Bay. And it's at the Montego Bay Airport. It's a lounge. And when you buy, it's called the preferred entry. Like, you get to bypass all the customs lines, and you go into a preferred line, and you get through really quick, and you get to use a lounge where there's drinks and food and everything. And it speeds up your entry and departure a lot, and a lot of people don't know about that.
A lot of these things would be very specific to a particular destination too, obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I also have heard of, speaking of ways that you could stumble if you're booking your own, I've heard about people who see a beautiful picture of this villa facing the water, and they get there and it's something else. Have you heard stories like that? Yeah,
on the internet I have. They don't know what the categories of rooms are and different things like that. They're just not aware with what's going on. Or they might not realize that the hotel is across the street from the beach and not right on the beach. There's all these, little things. At least when you book with us, we have good rapport with the sales rep and the concierge down at the hotels, and then we can contact them and make sure that you get the room request you're wanting. I just have an example to say that I had a multi-generation family that just went to Punta Cana, and the woman needed a scooter down there because she couldn't walk well. And I got that all set up for them. Oh, yeah. And it was really nice, and it was delivered to the resort. Oh, yeah. Everything was smooth. They didn't have to worry. They really went well.
That would be tough to do online.
So there's little things like that.
Yeah. And you mentioned sandals off camera. What was it with sandals?
Sandals has so many categories. It's crazy. And if you go
categories of what?
Of rooms.
Okay.
And there's different levels of rooms. There's concierge, and there's butler service, and there's other, and it's just crazy. And if you go online to try to figure all that out yourself, it's going to be crazy. So that's why, we know a lot about that. And I'm a sandal certified specialist, so.
Okay, yeah. Well, let's shatter one of the biggest misconceptions out there, which is that a travel agent costs more than booking through an Orbitz or one of those.
Right, we do not charge fees if you book a package, any kind of vacation package, hotel, air together, or whatever like that, cruises, anything like that, we do not charge a fee. The only thing that we do charge a fee for is just an airline ticket, but other than that, we
Yeah.
don't.
Because basically, that's something I learned in doing that story. I learned from the editor of Travel Weekly that it's almost always exactly the same cost because we're going to pay a commission on the various parts of our trip, but we would pay that same commission if we went online and stayed up till 11:30 at night and did it ourselves.
Right.
You're just going to pay it to a different entity.
Yeah.
Let's just finish with your thoughts on when is it beneficial to use a travel agent, and when does it really not matter? It's just simple to do yourself if you are inclined to do it that way for some reason.
Right. I mean, I always think of the people that have like comp rooms in Vegas that go to the same hotel all the time, and they know exactly what they want. If that's and then they're savvy on the computer, I guess they can do it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But really, I mean, I think at any point it's good to have a travel agent because we can take all the stress out of it and we can do all the work for you.
Yeah.
That's what we're getting paid to do, and you don't have to be caught, like you said, staying up till 11:30 at night. And we give the advice, and we have, we take all these classes all the time, and we have a lot of knowledge on these places. And, I just, we're not going to charge you a fee, so you might as well come and let us do the work.
Makes sense to me. Kathy Grant of Travel Market Vacations, thanks a lot for being on Money Talks today.
Thank you.
Thanks to our producer, Greg Shaver, and thanks for watching.
Hi, I'm Matt Collins. I'd like to welcome you to Bob Weber Auto Mart on Douglas Avenue here in Racine, across from Douglas Park. We specialize in 1-year-old, low mileage, almost new cars. And if you'd like to stop by and see them, or see them on our website, bobweberautomart.com, we could save you between $5,000 and $10,000 on your next almost new car purchase.